Good evening, family. Welcome to Deeper Things. Thank you so much for taking this time to join us. And when I tell you we have something special for you this evening, it is going to be emotional at times, but also informative. You know how we do at Deeper Things? We peel back the layers so that all of those things that are deep down inside are revealed.
Because she's forgetting things, she's repeating things.
The family member is not prepared to take on the weight. And you gotta think.
You're thinking, you gotta stimulate.
That's right.
Those muscles. You have my mother, the love of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Good evening, family. Welcome to Deeper Things. My name is Rosalind Harper, your host, and I can't wait to introduce you to our esteemed guest. But let me just share with you a little bit about what we're going to be talking about this evening. It's a very emotional topic, dear to me, of course, very real to me, and I'm hoping that I can get through it because it's raw. It's something that I've experienced not long ago. But the whole objective is to bring you in and allow you to share in this. Many of us are experiencing it. Again, Rosalind Harper, the host of Deeper Things. Let me just take a moment to introduce our esteemed guests for this evening. To my left, we have Tracy Taylor. Y'all know our girl.
Hey.
Sitting at the table with me. And then we have Lisa Clark Washington, our expert in this subject matter. She's going to drop some nuggets for us all. And then guess what, family? We have the father's coach. Every time he's here before me and he try to leave out, I say, nope, we need you. So thank you so much for joining in. We love it when you're here. And of course, you all know we have on the camera Mr. Tim Fontaine. Woo-hoo! So let's dive into what this subject matter is about. We're going to talk about the unraveling of dementia. Wait, let me say that again. The unraveling of dementia. We're going to talk about our personal journey, and then we're going to hopefully be able to provide some resources for you. Now, you know, the disclaimer with me is that if I get emotional, I'm going to let it flow. I'm telling you right now, I'm authentic. I'm who I am. I can't change. 61 years at this game. It's nothing that I can do. You have me as I am.
Absolutely.
And I know my guests are the same way. So we're going to come to you just as we are. So again, Deeper Things. Are you guys ready to get this party started?
We are ready.
Absolutely.
We are ready. We are ready.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it's pretty ironic. I had a dream about this, and you two were in my dream. Now, when you think back on the time when my mother had dementia and I was her caregiver, I came to both of you.
Yes.
I came to you because I know you went through it with your mother.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Just for that moral support.
Mm-hmm.
And when I tell you, it helped. It comforted my spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lisa is a member of my church. She's a minister. And I came to her my mother went to church with me every Sunday. So Lisa was very familiar with my mother. And I came to her and said, what do I do? Where do I go? My mother was just recently diagnosed, and we'll talk about some of the signs that lead up to that and what all of that looks like. But you provided me with some references that were amazing, and it was so necessary, like apply for Medicaid right now.
Yes.
You know, just those little tidbits.
Yeah.
But I asked you guys to come and join me so that our age, man, we are taking care of our parents, right?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
What are the
Absolutely.
steps? So you want to start by just kind of sharing with us why you don't mind opening up and sharing some of your experience?
Well, for me, it kind of came on like all of a sudden. I didn't know what was going on. I'd go and visit my mom, and I'd see that she'd be sitting in her room, always with the lights off. And I remember telling her, sitting in the dark makes you depressed. She said, that's how I want to sit. Every time I went down there, she was watching the same movie over and over and over. And so I started picking up on that, and I was like, this doesn't seem normal. She's not like getting up and getting out like she used to. She's content sitting here. So I was like, something is not right. Something is not right. So, my sister and the family, we decided, let's get an appointment at the doctor. I think I diagnosed my mom more so than the doctor did, because he's not around her.
Right.
He's like pushing it off to be something else. And I said, no, I think there's something going on here, because she's forgetting things, she's repeating things, and she's saying some things that don't make a lot of sense. So it was just like, we got to do something. We need to do something. And, there came a time when she unfortunately had to go to a rehab for therapy, rehabilitation for therapy. And it was at a nursing facility. And I think that's when it started to set in even more, because, unfortunately, some of the nursing facilities I've been around just don't do it for me. I've actually worked in a nursing facility, and I think I lasted probably less than a week, because I just was not happy the way they were treating the patients, the care, the smell, And so it's just like, I needed to get my mom out of there. So I brought her home with me. What I didn't know was, when I did bring her home, the heartache that, I guess you can call it heartache, that I would take, because she just didn't know what she was saying to me. It was like it was just hard to hear her say. And I'm thinking, yeah, there's definitely something going on here. And I told the doctor, I said, I think she has dementia, early on, Alzheimer's, early onset. Yeah, onset, I'm sorry, thank you. But, and then like I said, I brought her home, and, there were times when I would just have to go upstairs and scream because of something she may have said to me that like hurt my feelings. But I know they don't know what they're saying, but it hurts. It hurts. It just does.
It's interesting. So I just want to say, this is not uncommon.
Right.
No. 13.9% of Americans ages 71 and above has some form of dementia. So this is no coincidence. It's nothing new. It is happening. And to your point, it is really being around our elders to understand that something may have changed.
Absolutely.
So with me and my mother, it was during COVID when I was working from home. I start noticing, okay, so every day you're losing your keys, number one, and then secondly, she's forgetting where she's going while she's driving.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So I was at home, and so I said, something is wrong. So I let her primary care physician know, as when I took her to the doctor. So she told me we need to go to a neurologist and get some tests done. And I'm so grateful that we did. So once we got her tested and it came back that she had dementia, I knew nothing about it. I was not prepared. I did not know what to expect. But if you know me, you know I'm going to do some research, right? So I found everything out I could possibly learn about dementia.
Yep.
And that really started this thing. It started to what you're saying. understanding why they
Right.
say certain words. They don't mean to hurt you. They don't look. They're not in their right state of mind
don't know.
all the time. They don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Chime in a little bit, Lisa.
One of the things you must understand in reference to dementia is that the brain cells are dying.
Mm-hmm.
So those brain cells that allowed you to be able to cognitively reason, think, and behave what we call appropriate are dying.
Right.
They don't regenerate. They keep dying, and they attack more of the brain cells. So in that thought process alone, as the caretaker or the relative that is experiencing something new about this person I love, you begin to see the behavioral change.
Right.
They're not able to connect 2 plus 2. You know, they're not seeing the same things as you see them. You see a concrete floor, they may see it as water.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because texturally, it's not connecting. And so when these things begin and the loved ones are looking on, the first thing you may have said, as you two ladies stated, something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But most of us say, Big Mama's getting old, Mama's getting old, or
Yes.
Auntie's just having a moment.
Yeah.
Or it was just because denial is our first line of defense
Exactly.
for our emotions. It's the first line.
Right.
And in that, we want to protect ourselves, but protect them. Because now we have to make a decision.
Right.
Now we have to say, oh, I got to take you to the doctor.
Yep.
And I might have to hear a truth my heart is not in.
That's right.
Okay?
Yes, that's good stuff. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Let me just take a moment. You know, family, we all experience things. And you know, I'm an advocate for older people. And I know in these days that we are so busy. Everybody is going to and fro.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a plea for you. I am really going to ask that we begin to take time and analyze, that we begin to take note of what our loved ones are experiencing.
Exactly.
Because, you know, if they are accustomed to doing their own medicine, you don't realize that they are no longer capable of doing it.
Right.
Right? They start mixing meds
Yes.
or forgetting meds.
Mhm.
And you're just assuming because they've always done it that they're still capable of doing it.
Right.
And they're not. And I know we have a lot to talk about and we have a lot to get into because the family part is huge, you know, and then so we need to share that. But I really just want, as we are sharing this, for you to think about your family, those elders that you need to just set some time aside and observe
Right.
their behavior.
That's right. That's right. Take notice if they're doing something different that they're not used to doing. You know, just spend some time with the elders. You know, like Rod said, everybody's like so busy coming and going. Like, stop for a minute. Sit with your elders. Talk to them. You know, that's one great way of finding out if something's going on. They start to singing. Exactly. They start saying something that you're like, wait a minute, where'd that come from? You know, and like you said, it's just not about like not being losing my train of thought, but yeah,
Involved.
yeah, yes.
So you have to understand, though, as we're adulting in this day and age, and it requires so much of your time and your thought patterns, that you're going to see it but dismiss it. You're going to keep encountering it but don't have time for it.
Right.
And in that, when it really impacts, when you have no other choice but to address it, now it's in your face, and you now have taken off from work, or you're about to have to call in the troops, or you're going to have to break down and go cry, and you're going to call on Jesus, the healer, and Jesus said, this one is not going to get healed. It's going to be what it's being because I allow all things. So now you have to really, really stop and do what you said. Take stock.
Yep.
Take stock of those
Exactly.
people you love.
That's right.
But where do we fit that in?
Where do we fit
Where do we
that
fit that in?
And that's the question. Mr. Kev?
I'll just chime in for a little bit. Kevin L. Kelly, the Father's Coach with the Father's Coach podcast. As you guys were talking, you had me reminisce of my grandmother, how my parents were dealing with it because she was living with my parents, and they up in North Jersey. I'm in Delaware. So when I came up for the weekend, I saw grandma. When I saw grandma, I'm talking to her, and she was constantly saying the same things over again. And then she was also talking about people who were gone. And I'm sitting there like, I just came from Delaware, and I didn't know she was like that.
Exactly.
So I'm like you were saying, Big Mom. I'm just looking at her, I'm like, grandma.
Yeah.
This grandma, and then I had to learn to have patience and just sit there and just listen to her talk again, say it again, and I was just being present with her. But that was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I mean, I cried all the way back home almost, back to Delaware. I was like, I didn't know she was like that. But my parents had to deal with that. And like you were saying, this is something they had to deal with, and then they had to learn. They had to learn the new tools. They had not just what the doctor was telling them, they had to learn how to deal with it.
That's right.
They had to do research.
Right. Something the doctor can't teach you, right? Yeah. It's when you're there with them. The doctor don't know what you're going through. They can only say, okay, this is the diagnosis, but okay, that's what you say. But what I'm going through over here, who's diagnosing me? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Who's diagnosing me?
That was my father's mother.
Mm-hmm.
So my mother was helping my father deal with that. So that was on my mother.
Right.
And I'm, my sisters, we left Jersey, so they was handling that. It was just more emotional for us, but they were in the trenches.
It's a lot to handle. It's a lot to handle because you do not know how. You're in this. My mother, the love of my life. The love of my life. And taking care of my mother gave me great pleasure. But those things that I was not prepared for, though, the cursing, I lived there with her, right? So I got it.
That's
man.
right. That's right.
My mother would curse me out. She forgot who I was for 6 whole months. She would tell my sisters and them, why do y'all keep letting this girl in here?
Yeah.
Things like that. But because I researched it, because I understood the signs,
Right.
I was able to smile through it. I did not ever get angry at my mother for not remembering who I am.
Right.
Or cursing me out or accusing me of stealing her money and then poisoning her. Like, all those things are real.
Absolutely.
They are real.
Absolutely.
And the more you know, the more you study, the more you prepare, the less personal it will be. Because remember, what's important is that we realize it's not about us.
Right.
It is about the love and the care that our loved ones need
Absolutely.
of us.
Absolutely.
So it's not about us. And I'm sure you experienced some of the same thing.
Like he was saying how he lived, a distance or whatever, I live in Bucks County. The rest of my family live in Delaware County. So that's an hour and something for them to come up to where I was caring for my mom. And they don't know a lot of what I went through. Okay. So it's like, okay, I'm hearing, sometimes awful things over the phone from, a sibling or whatever. Well, why is this and this or whatever? And I'm saying to them, look, you guys have no idea what I'm going through up here. Okay. My mom is up here yelling at me, cussing at me. Y'all don't hear this. You're down there. Yeah. You come up every now and then, but I'm the one who's taking the brunt of it all.
Yeah.
Okay. All I ask for is a call to say, Tracy, how are you doing? How are you doing? But like Ryan said, and I love my mother to death. Okay. And like I said, there have been times when I have to go upstairs and just scream because of what she has just said to me. Hurts my feelings. Because everybody knows that it was always me and my mother. Everybody's like, Yeah, you're your mom. You're always going here. You're always going there. Because I love my mother to death. And that's why I chose to bring her home from that nursing facility, because I wanted to care for her. Okay?
Yeah, it's and let me, you know, you mentioned siblings.
Good.
And I'm going to be very selective in my words. My siblings and I have always been very close. But here's what I'm going to ask you not to do. If you are not the one that is there
That's right.
and providing that care, don't judge.
Absolutely.
Never say, because I do this now. When I hear someone say, "Oh, I didn't notice that," or she doesn't do that in front of me,
Right.
that is the worst thing you can say. First of all, there's different types of dementia.
Right.
My mother had vascular. She had down setting. So all day long, she appeared to be very normal. So if you were around her, you would not have known.
Exactly.
But at night, all hell broke loose.
That's right.
Okay, and I'm not going to put that lightly. All hell broke loose.
That's right.
So the synopsis that they go through, what is it called? When they're seeing people, they're hallucinating, they're
traveling.
doing all these things.
They're
Yeah, they're
traveling
walking
in
around.
in their mind. They're traveling back in time.
Absolutely.
They're traveling
Yes.
different places that you weren't there. You know, I'm a chime in. My mother, at the same time being diagnosed with cancer and having to have surgery to remove the cancer, the onset
Right.
of dementia was in play.
Right.
But because my siblings and I were so adamant against our stepfather, who had been with her 30 plus years, he kept saying she had dementia. Well, why would we believe you? Why would you be the one to believe about my mother? You want her house and you want her stuff. And our minds could not wrap around when she repeated herself over and over and traveled to back when she was partying, when she got married to our father. And, you know, we just could not. And we made joke.
Right.
I kid you not. We made joke of the joke she made because we didn't understand and we were adamant to fight him.
Right.
But then,
Right.
when she came from the hospital home and it was the same conversation, like, Mom, I just answered you.
Right.
I just gave
said
you that. That's when reality said, okay, there's something to what he's saying.
Right.
And there's something to something we need to decide as a family.
Yes.
As a family.
Right.
Yes.
But every family member is not prepared to take on the weight. And you got to decide who's the strongest, who's less selfish,
That's right.
who's willing, who got the time, all of those factors.
That's right.
And then see if they're willing to take on the role,
Right.
the initial role. Because now the support still has to come from the sibling.
So initially they all say initially, yeah, okay, I can do that. I'll do that.
Until it's time. Until it's put up.
Yes,
Until
absolutely.
they really understand what's involved.
Right.
They can't without experience. So they're never going to not get the experience.
Experience
Because
is the best
whoever the
teacher.
leader is.
That's right.
Because there's an alpha in every group.
That's right. It
The
is.
alpha who wants to need it for adoration, need it for, you know, themselves, their selfishness, whatever it is going to be the one who steps up with the
rise
first
up. That's right.
cheerleading outfit.
Absolutely.
And that thing's going to diminish real quick. They're going to come off the line. And it's going to drop down to the weakest point.
And I want to take a step back
Gonna
real
rise
quick
up.
because, you know, right, even before my mom, my mother's brother, he had dementia, and I guess we were still trying to understand like what's going on or whatever. He actually showed up at my mother's house on Christmas Day, and that's because he generally comes to my mom's house, so that was his only thought of knowing I know where I'm going. You know, he came to my mom's house on Christmas Day. Wife didn't know where he was or anything. So it was just like, I thought about that when I started thinking about my mom with the dementia. I'm like, this must be hereditary, you know? This must be hereditary because it was kind of scary, if you will, you know? He just like up and showed up. We called the wife and she was like, oh my God, I've been looking for him. He took the keys, just came to the house.
Wow.
Yeah.
So muscle memory, like I know this is what I do.
That's it.
You know,
I know
so
where
let
I'm
me do
going. I
that.
go to this house often and that's where I'm going to be.
You know, it's funny because in my research, they said it's not hereditary.
It's not.
Wow.
As we sit here today, my mother brother, who's much younger, he's in his 60s, he now has dementia.
Something,
You know,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
and they say it all. I say all the time, exercise your brain.
That's right. That's right.
Activity of your brain. You have got to involve
Right.
your thinking. You got to stimulate
That's right.
those muscles. You have to really be committed,
Proactive.
That's right.
proactive, yes, to really ensuring.
How do you do that?
So it's like I'll give you an example. So my brother loves to drive, right? That is his everything. And I always say to him after mommy being diagnosed, okay, that's good, but you're not stimulating your brain. It's not forcing you to learn something new. It's not forcing you to think. It's not forcing you to be actively engaged in something to stimulate all the juices there. But you have to. That's why they say do crossword puzzles.
I was just what I was getting ready to point out.
Yes,
That's exactly
all
what I was going to
those
point out.
things.
They said that.
Yes, to
To
stimulate
keep
your
your mind going and thinking, you know.
But what you cannot discount at normally around the age of 65, you start losing memory.
You do.
Anyway. Like, you know, right now I'm 65 and there are days I cannot remember how to get to the doctor's office because I want to go this way.
Right.
And they done detoured or whatever.
Right.
So in that, you can't count that as dementia because it's just part of the aging process.
Yes.
And so when people decide they're going to retire and they don't have a plan for their retirement to be active, to stimulate, to motivate their minds, it's a quicker onset. It's a quicker onset. And most of us as African American, Hispanic people, if we're fortunate enough to retire, we don't make a plan.
Right.
We just want to be done.
We just want to be done.
Checked out.
And so,
That's right. Checked out. So
Wow. That's deep.
I have
That's
a question
really
too.
deep.
I have a question about with the family, with the loved ones, the caregivers. Do you introduce self-care to yourself while you're taking care of your loved one?
You know, that's a really good question. And all three of us can answer that. For me, self-care wasn't an option. I was so lost in what I needed to do for my mother. Self-care, what the heck is that?
And where do you get the
And where do
time
you get the time?
to have self-care?
What does
Soaking
that
your
look
feet.
like?
Long baths, something. Beach, run.
see what oftentimes people don't realize that if they have Medicaid, you can go for it. You can apply for respite to get someone to come in or utilize a family member that you trust to take care of and who has some semblance that you can give understanding of. Mama gonna act up at 8 o'clock every night.
Exactly.
And in that, then you can make that plan with your sibling. I just need 5 hours, 2 hours, 6 hours,
And
whatever.
you to bring that up, I actually did put my mom in a respite, which I didn't know anything about. My cousin introduced that to me because she works at a nursing facility, and she's like, you need a vacation. I said, how can I go on a vacation and I'm taking care of my mother? She's like, oh, well, this thing called respite where you can put her here for a week. They'll take care of her under Medicare. They'll pay for it and everything. So you can go and relax. And so that's what I did. So I take that back with like trying to find the time.
Yes.
Well, there are some programs out there that will kind of help the caregiver.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
That's it. And for me, fortunately, my siblings were there. So I would, say to my sister, I'm going away for a week and I'm an avid traveler. So, during those times, that's when I would kind of regroup
That's good.
to reset my mind, but we're touching on some really good stuff. So I know this hour goes really quickly. We can't leave without really talking about some resources that are available.
Right.
You told me, and I remember, one of the things that you said was, make sure when your mother tell you something that you don't dispute it.
Right.
So I want to share with you guys.
That's right.
So Lisa said, if you're walking out the door and she says, no, I'm scared, there's a lot of water out there. Oh, okay, let's go out the back door.
Right.
Don't say it's not raining, there's no water out there, because in her mind, she sees water.
Absolutely.
So you want to respect that.
Absolutely.
It was so many of those little nuggets that helped me.
Yep.
You also told me, you gave me books to read. You also told me to join a Facebook support group, which
Support.
it made all the difference in the world.
Absolutely.
Because everything I was going through,
Somebody
so
else was going through.
you know,
Absolutely.
so it really did help me
Yes.
say I'm not in this alone, so I can't take it personal, you know. So can you share just some steps on, once they understand there's something different, mom's not cooking the same way, she's leaving ingredients out like my mother used to do. You are the best cook in the world, this potato salad has something missing, right? So once you get there,
Yeah.
like, what are some of the must-need resources?
Must needs. After you've accepted that the doctor has diagnosed, the neurologist has diagnosed, and you have said it is. First thing to do is research. Now, there's the Alzheimer's organization. You can start there. If you want to know a thing, go to the creators of the thing. You know, always.
I always say Google.
Yeah. And then contact the local offices in your area. Look for the support groups, not just online, because sometimes you need to touch.
Exactly.
Sometimes you need to face.
Yeah.
You need a little more energy in that vibe.
Exactly.
And then those books, there are so many books out there to, you know, you can go on Amazon and type in Alzheimer's and dementia, and you're going to get a list of books that's going to be able to say, I read a sample, because you know you get free samples and that kind of thing. But then, who can you trust with your emotions? Who you trusting? May not be the sibling.
That's right.
It may be your girlfriend. It may be your husband. It may be you, sir. You know, I'm trusting you with my emotions because they're going to keep rolling.
Exactly.
You're coming up and rolling out. I need to be able to deposit them somewhere and know that they're safe. My heart is still intact.
Yeah. Roz and I had an emotional few conversations on the phone.
No doubt.
You know?
No doubt.
And it's just raw emotion, like you say. You know,
But
you
you
start
trusted
talking about it, and we
one
trusted
another.
each other. That's right.
Hold that information.
Absolutely.
To support one another. And that's not an easy task in our society.
No,
today.
it's not.
It's not.
It's not.
It really isn't. And so, you know, when you came to me, Roz, I didn't sugarcoat. I didn't make you feel better. I gave her what's going to happen.
Right.
And when that time comes, get ready. Start now. Preparing. The inevitable is the inevitable. They're going to die.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I sound real cold, but they're going to die.
Yeah, that's the end.
If God gives you grace enough for a period of time, even in the dementia stage,
That's right.
love on that stage.
That's right.
Love on them,
Absolutely.
because they're loving you when they remember.
That's yes, they are.
And when they don't, their heart still remembers that they loved someone.
That's right.
It was you. They just can't call it you today.
Right.
As you were saying this, I was just thinking about how our mothers, big moms, grandmas, how they took care of us. And then we could just take care of them at a fragile moment. At such a fragile moment. Can we take care of them?
That's right.
They took care of us.
What's that life cycle?
20 years, right?
Right.
And you take care of them
That's
for
right.
5 years.
Exactly.
And if we
Exactly.
can't, shame on us.
Yeah.
Shame on us if we can't. And, you know, there's, again, resources, there's tools. You know, you can have caregivers. I couldn't depend on them. Sorry.
Right.
You know, I tried, you know, but when we hired or went through the facility to get people to come in so that I can, you know, do my real estate, they would, I just said, forget this. I can't, you know. because they would be late and they weren't dependable. And I like making schedules. If I'm showing a house, I need to be there, you know? So my mother went with me. All my clients know her because she went with me to look, you know, to show homes and things like that.
Yeah.
But
Well, my mom did have a healthcare helper who came in the morning for a few hours, and unbeknownst to her, my mother, I had one of those baby monitors downstairs, so I would go upstairs when the healthcare, person came, and I would just like listen. And there were times when I hear my mom like yelling at her or saying something to her. And she's like speaking just meek and mild and everything. And she's like she was really good. I got to say she was really good. And then I'd come downstairs and she'd look. She's like, where'd you come from? I said, I don't know, but somebody told me there was some arguing going on down here or something or another, So she never knew that I was actually listening because like I said, at night, she loves to travel. She's getting out of the bed, so I'm listening, and I'm coming downstairs. She's in the freezer with her walker, and I'm like, what are you doing? I'm getting me a popsicle.
that's right.
I'm getting me a popsicle. I was like, all right, and carry on.
I'm going to speak on that safety thing because it's imperative once you've come to this acceptance and you're creating your plan of action to protect and take care of. Safety is key because my mind told me that I wanted a popsicle, but the popsicle might be at the corner store.
Absolutely. That's right.
And so what are you going to do to secure your home?
Right. That's right.
How are you going to lock them, unfortunately, in?
Right.
Let's call it what it is.
That's what it is.
Right. That's right.
That deadbolt lock, you got to put on at night.
Right.
Put the key up.
Right.
The gate, I had to have a gate.
Yes.
I had to,
Protect
I had to
them
have
from
a
stairs.
double rail.
Yes.
I had to, everything that I thought my mother needed, I tried to provide for her.
Absolutely.
Let me just say, my mother had vascular dementia, and the expectancy with that is 5 years. I had 5 years to love on her like never before. So all of the ins and the outs and the things that you have to go through, the challenges, the upsets, and it's plenty of that.
Absolutely.
But let me tell you something right now. My mother passed October 28th. And what I would give right now to put up a rail or to put up a gate or to say, oh my God, not again. We just washed you up.
Exactly. Yep.
You know?
Yes.
So, and I'm sure you'll understand.
Yeah, because there are times when, like, every now and then my mother would maybe get out of the bed, trying to get back in the bed, and may not have made it into the bed,
Yes.
Now she's on the floor.
Oh,
And I'm hearing this with the baby monitor. So I come running downstairs and I'm like, what happened? And then now I'm the bad person because she's on the floor. But I'm like, okay, well, let's just help you. Let's help get you up, But I think about that today and I say to myself, how could I have let that happen? Like it was my fault that she was on the floor, And then I start thinking like, well, I'm the only person up here doing this all by myself. If I had just a little help, maybe somebody could be sitting in the chair next to the bed. I rearranged my whole living room. I brought in the hospital bed. You would have thought it was a hospital room where my mother was because I wanted her to have everything accessible to her. And then when I came downstairs and I saw her on the floor the one time, I felt bad. Like I did something to her. And like every now and then I think about that. I mean, of course I think of the good times, but I'm always questioning myself like, what could I have done better?
I have to chime in here. I have to. Because the grace of God, the very grace of God that allows you whatever period of time to one, ask Him for forgiveness because you weren't always the great child. Two, to know that in their way, they're asking you for forgiveness because I'm in a situation that I have no control over.
Right.
And I need you. And I don't want to need you because I'm your mom.
Yes.
So in being your mother, I'm supposed to take care of you. You're not supposed to take care of me.
Right.
And in that, those moments, that time that you're allotted, you got to look at it so different. And I'm really speaking to you.
Mm-hmm.
It was a blessing.
Amen.
You were the blessing. It wasn't what you couldn't do, it's what you did do.
Yes. You gonna make me run up in this place.
And that's all that matters, because God is searching the heart. And the heart said, I'll do this.
Yes.
I'll do this, Father,
yes.
for this person you gave me to and who gave me life through you. I'll do this.
Yes.
So it don't matter if she hit the floor. She could have hit the floor and been in all her right mind.
Oh, yes.
Because that's irrelevant to the blessing. The blessing that you were to your mother.
Amen. Amen.
No, my mother left here straight up in joy because she was never alone.
After going through this, the both of you, does it make you feel conscious of you getting old? Do you think about?
Why do you say that?
And would you have something? Would you put something in place with your siblings or your child because of what you went through?
Absolutely.
Yes.
First of all,
So we
we have to talk about the power of attorney,
Right? That's number
which
one.
is critical.
Number one.
Hey, look, but you don't have to wait for any sickness.
That's right.
This is something that we need. It should be on hand so that you're able to make, in my case, the banking decisions, the medical decisions.
medical and
so that the
financial.
doctors can talk to you.
Absolutely.
And all of
Yes.
that. I mean, that is critical. That's one thing. The life insurance, come on, we
right.
have to get prepared. So, and with my daughters, I know you talked about the nursing home. Was it the last doctor's appointment I took my mother to? We went to the ER. They sent her straight to the ER. And from there, she went to a nursing home because she needed rehab.
Right.
And she never left the nursing home.
Right.
So it was never our desire. It was never her desire to be in one.
Right.
But there was nothing that we can do. It was what it was, right? But my mother was, until she couldn't talk anymore, the mother. So if I say certain things, you talking about Big Mama.
Right.
It was like, okay, I'm still the mother, and I loved that. She kept me in my place. She kept me in check, although I was, we were caring for her.
Absolutely.
She never left her post of being a mother.
Right.
Right.
I always thought that was so amazing. But yes, to your point, my daughters know, I want to be in a nursing home. I do not want them to experience this burden, right? And I'm just keeping it real. I would not change anything about being my mother's caregiver, but I do not want my daughters doing that, and they know it. They always say, Mom, nothing.
Right.
Let me go chase those old men around and be around people that are like-minded with me so that I can have fun.
Right.
Okay? Let me go make some man happy in a nursing home.
Because I'm still look good at that time. Yes. Okay. They're going to change the good looks.
Exactly.
That's so good. This is so good. I'm glad that we're able to, because this was a heart wrenching. You had me going by. You saw me right. I'm like this. I'm like, I'm not gonna cry out here.
Right.
But it's a lifestyle change for the caregivers.
Absolutely.
It's a lifestyle. I think that's the scary part.
It is.
Because we try to stay. I think my mom, try to keep everything the same by taking care of my grandmother, but everything had to change. I think everything has to change.
Right.
That's the scary part.
And you have to have that conversation with your parents. My parents are deceased, but your parents are still living.
Yes.
It's time.
Yeah.
Sit down and have that real conversation about, who's going to have power of attorney?
Get that power of
Not the
attorney.
executive of the estate, the power of attorney. Who do they trust?
That's right.
To have that say so over their finances,
Yes.
and that say so over their medical, because those are two different forms of power of attorney.
Right.
Medical or finance.
That's right.
That's good.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
Gotta get
let's
that.
go on to the funeral home. Are we cremating or
Right.
we have a funeral?
That's
let's
right.
let's get this in order because everybody doesn't have insurance. Okay, and a lot of our younger adults are not cognizant of the need until little Tommy or something happens, and then the jar is in the corner store.
Yeah. It's funny you say
that's
that, Joe,
true.
because over the years, us going down to my mom's house and, the holidays and everything, she always used to joke about, I know my daughter's going to take care of me, if something happens, blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking, look, Mom, you better get some insurance, okay? Long story short, who did it land on? It landed on me.
Yep.
And it's unfortunate, but I am still paying for that today.
Yes.
I had to go into my pension, and I know they're probably going to say, if she says that one more time, well, it is what it is.
It's the truth.
Okay,
Truth is
I'm
truth.
still paying for that.
Yes.
Okay, I made sure my mom was buried decent and in order.
Yeah.
Okay, decent and in order. And so, hey, I just got to bite the bullet.
And I'm going to say this to you, Roz, because you have this platform. Your next step is to talk about how to save towards that.
Yeah.
You may not be able to get in a policy because they're 75.
Yep.
Right. But how do I save towards that? How do I go to the funeral home and find out what this is going to cost and try to lock this in and make monthly payments out of my little check, whatever my little check is?
Right.
And so that they're preparing, because you may be prepared. We got a whole massive audience.
That's right.
That have no idea how to manage finance.
That's right.
Let alone prepare for the inevitable of death.
Absolutely.
Whether it's a child, whether it's dementia.
Right.
They're just not ready. Use the platform.
I appreciate that so much, and what a great segue. So my church is actually having an event. This is the start of it. So the first Saturday in October, we're going to have a workshop to talk about this very thing, but we're going to have the experts there. We're going to have the lawyer there. We're going to have the doctor there. We're going to have every aspect of what you need to prepare, because this won't leave my heart,
Yeah.
So we're going to have it at the church. We'll probably live stream it for those who cannot attend, but it's going to be a round table with the experts. We're going to be answering questions, and then after the event, they're going to have separate tables where you can go up and talk about what specifically you're interested in and what you need help in, because it's no longer time to sleep. Just like all of us are saying, you have got to get prepared. This is inevitable. It's not, I used to do a lot of life insurance workshops because I've been in insurance for years. And one of the things that I used to always say, it's not if you're going to die, it's when you're going to die, right? And how you have to take on that responsibility, start planning and preparing. Do not leave that on your children.
Exactly.
It's not fair.
Not there.
It's not fair.
But also make sure that information is somewhere where somebody knows.
That's right.
We'll get it. Stick it in a drawer. Nobody knows it's in that drawer until you're ready to clean out that house, or you're in panic mode and you happen to come across it.
It's funny you say that. Not like really quick though. Like, we just lost my aunt, unfortunately, a year, 2 years ago, whatever. And she told my cousin, I have all my information in an envelope. Okay. What she forgot to tell him was where this envelope was. Okay. So we're moving stuff out of the house, and it's like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and we can't find this envelope. So just like out of the blue, I think my sister's like, okay, I'm going to start pulling stuff out of the closet in the hallway. Well, she's pulling stuff, and here's this envelope. When I tell you, my aunt, and I'm going to take this after her, she had everything mapped out. This is who I want you to get to sing for me.
Yes.
This is my program, everything for him, and it was good though, because he was a single child, and she looked ahead to make sure he didn't have that burden.
Right.
And I said, you know what? That's a template right there.
Yes.
Get things in order for your kids, because like Bri said, it's not fair. It's not.
Yeah, my mother did that.
That's a good point.
Even all the way to her dress, what she was going to wear.
Yeah.
And so all we did was write the program.
Exactly.
And then survived.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, and to be honest with you, Deb and I, my sister, who, you know, we were both responsible, we couldn't do anything. When my mother expired, we had no strength, we had no brains, we had nothing. Right. All we could do was weep. So my daughter, my youngest daughter, planned everything. I mean, when I tell you, she planned everything. We just simply went to the funeral. I knew my mom's favorite song, so she would ask questions about certain things, and, you know, we answered that.
Right.
But you're not in any condition to be thinking about how you're going to pay for it, how you're going to do. Emotionally, you're going to be distraught most often, you know. So I just, you know, oftentimes you don't know what your state of mind is.
And as we are young adulting or adulting people here, which one of you have put all your stuff listed?
Right.
All your insurance policies, banking information, anything that's of significant, and have placed it somewhere, emailed it to your child. Right. If you haven't,
That's a great idea.
I have. I suggest that you do that so that even if it's not in the envelope in the closet, they know who to contact for what, name, numbers, all that information.
Absolutely. That was all in the envelope. Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
This is powerful.
Yeah, and
Thank you for sharing.
the policy and everything. Yeah, the life insurance policy in the envelope. This is who you call because it's paid up. She made sure she told them that it's paid up. So call these people and take care of that.
That's called responsibility.
Yep.
Oh, you know, guys, we love you. And thank you for pouring out your hearts.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Because this information is so needed. It's so necessary. And we can go on and on and on about it. Here's what I want you to do, though. If you have a question, if you need a hug, if you're the caregiver of your parent and you don't have anyone to talk to, you don't know which way to turn, you don't know what resources are available to you, I want you to call me. I want you to reach out to me and say, Roz, will you just be there for me? Now, I can't promise you that I will have the answers, but what I will have is your back. So what you can't research and find out, I will help you with it.
Absolutely.
If you have a senior out there, you know, I live in Delaware, I'm from Chester, so anywhere in this area that you need a babysitter, you need to go away, you need somebody to go to the grocery store for you while you are taking care of your parents.
Yes.
Call me, because I know what it's like.
I
know what I went through. And I know at times you want to scream. You want to scream at the very least. So, and I know, you know, you two ladies, you can speak for yourself, but
oh yeah,
you know,
there's been a many of days screaming. There's been a many of days screaming, but never in front of my mom. Always upstairs, you know, in the pillow.
And I'm real practical.
Yeah.
So my thing is, get yourself a girlfriend that's already a caregiver.
That's
and someone you can trust that if you need to pull them in,
right.
even if it's going to cost you that extra whatever
Couple
per hours,
right.
you can pull them in from a trusting place.
Absolutely.
You know, so start lining that up or looking through your friends or looking through your family members. Who is that person?
That's right.
That I can put that responsibility on for a couple of hours or a day or so.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Don't wait.
That's right.
Mr. Kev?
I think you said it all. I think we've said it all. But thank you for including me in the conversation. This was good. I didn't get too emotional, but the information was great. And I'm definitely going to share this on my siblings.
Absolutely.
This is great. Thank you.
Excellent. Yeah.
well, my deep peeps, you guys know how we roll. Again, peeling back those layers, right? Because we've got to get to the core of the matter. Rosalind Harper, your host, do me a favor, subscribe, like, all that stuff. I just like to bring you what we have on our heart, right?
Absolutely.
But do all those things to help us out. Love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. I'm so grateful. And I pray that there was something that we said that might help you along the way. This is something that touches us all. If not directly, definitely indirectly. Love you guys.
Amen.
Deuces.
Right.